Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow's the big one. So today we wrap up the semi-finals here at the Betfred.com World Snooker Championship. It's all to play for. We've got a rocking atmosphere here in the Crucible. So without any further ado, let's get the boys on the bays. Please welcome a player in his 6th Crucible semi-final. Great to see his return to the top. He won 11 in a row against Day in the quarters. He's under pressure here, but he has the game and he has the belief. Twice a World Championship finalist, former UK champion. He's the Welsh Dragon. He's Matthew Stevens! Oh my. And now, please welcome the most naturally gifted player ever to grace the modern game. He has lit up the Crucible for the past fortnight. He's won 6 in a row in every match so far. One word sums up his performance over the last 14 days: sublime. Bidding for a 4th World Championship final. He is so fast, blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan!
Well, as per usual, great atmosphere. Matthew Stevens, obviously with a lot to do, enters this session 6 frames behind. I just had a quick word with him. He said, just never got to the table. He said it was over an hour before Ronnie let me pot a ball. He said, I feel good, but as you say, Ken, a mountain to climb, but all you can do is do your best.
Yes, indeed, John. That's all you can do. Try and score when you're at the table. It was very hard to do that against this man. He's been in superb form, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
All your cameras away now, please.
He's won the last 6 frames in a row. Just looking at it. Looking at the breaks there, John. 62, 110, 98, 90, 113 to finish last night. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to perform when people are scoring like that against you. And of course, the one thing as well that impressed me, I watched the second session, and Ronnie's safety play. I mean, it seemed that every time Matthew came to the table, he was tight under the baulk cushion. It makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, there you see safety success. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 91%. That's very, very high. Matthew Stevens, 87%. I think in Matthew's case, John, he just has to go out, and this is like another match, isn't it? You know, another session. Forget about what's gone behind. I mean, even if he can try and win the session 5-3, he's still in with it. He's still in with a chance, but that's all he can do. Take each session as they come along. Oh, great shot! What a start!
One.
Beautiful pot. Have a look at that.
Eight. Nine.
Just shows you this game, doesn't it? I'm complimenting Ronnie on his good break and terrific length, and you can't cater for pots like that. That was top draw, and he needs a good start. Let's have a look at it again.
16.
Cue, straight as a gun barrel.
17.
And as I say, just the start he was looking for, and if he could win it in one visit, it'll make him feel very good about the task ahead. And it is a big task. But all you can do, as I say, is do your best.
24.
Play well. And while he's at the table
25.
potting balls, no matter how good Ronnie O'Sullivan is, he can only sit and watch.
Needs a bit of luck on first glance.
30.
He didn't get it. That's very unlucky. Did have a couple of open reds, as you can see, but decided to take the aggressive approach, and has to be said, very unfortunate not to be on a red there.
Yeah, just needed to catch that pink full in the face. And because he didn't, that's why the cue ball was finished close to the side cushion.
Matthew Stevens, 30.
Yeah, terrific start. A little bit frustrated not to continue the break.
Once again, another good safety shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan, purposely putting Matthew Stevens down the left-hand side of the table. And that's because of these two reds that are close to the side cushion and close to this left-hand corner pocket. Very difficult to find a pathway, as we see Hawkeye's view.
There's possibly a path back to ball. You just got to be careful. There's so many reds he could slip into if he hits it too thin. Well, he got it. Avoided the blue, and as long as he didn't go in off, that's pretty good.
There is a possible red, that red that's closest to the left-hand corner pocket, just below the black. He may be able to clip that in and get around the back of the black spot and back up to balk. There's the match time, comes up to 5 hours now.
Well, played the red you suggested, Ken, but got it much too thick. And that red coming up to the balk area with the cue ball is a little bit fortunate. He didn't leave it any easier than this, but it will go to the right middle. But I think he's considering playing a little snooker here behind the yellow. It's a sort of, well, less than half ball pot to the right middle. You may consider it's a little bit too risky. I think that's why he's thinking of just playing a little gentle screw and trying to play the snooker behind the yellow. Yep. Didn't want to take the risk, so it shows that he's thinking positive, and he's going to give it his best shot this morning. A little bit of backspin and look at the chalk. That's what happens when the tip of the cue runs along the base. Two cushion escape with pace. Well, he played it pretty well.
yeah, possible route. He wants to be down the left-hand side, somewhere behind the yellow. Certainly blocking this red. It's over the left corner pocket, but he wants to try and get it tight, and he's hit that all wrong. That's a poor shot. Plenty of room for error there for Matthew. He's left a couple of pots to go at, but not straightforward because they're running into other reds. A little bit more difficult than he would have liked. Okay, he has the blue over the corner pocket. He should be on that, but very risky pot to take on.
Well, he's knocked a red over the corner, but once again, a beautiful length with the cue ball. And I don't think there's any way, well, you see there's so many balls blocking the path to that one over the corner. But of course, that puts a little bit more pressure now on this shot from Matthew. Got to catch this right, don't want to make this too thick. Played it well. Played it very well. But does this red, is there a gap to this red? Do you know, I think there may be.
Desperately unlucky for Matthew if he's left a gap here, John. Look at all the reds there. Just look at this red just sticking his nose out.
Just looking at that, Ken, I'm not certain he can hit the red, but I don't think he can hit it full enough to pot it. So just the safety. Not an easy one, this, playing across the face of a red. No, missed it.
Foul. The miss.
And if this nestles behind the brown,
Matthew
could be a
Stevens.
free ball. Oh, nearly. Matthew was hoping that it just stopped short. Yeah, no point in having it replaced. Matthew with his hand on the table. I think he could play a lot better safety shot than that. It's amazing, all the reds now are in that other half of the table. Hits it so thick, the cue ball was going nowhere. Fortunately, a red found the pocket. Now let's see how this one went in. One off the cushion, one in the middle of the table. The white nearly stopped it going in. I don't think he knew much about that. Well, we always say it's difficult when a ball's in the
6.
jaw of the pocket to judge where the cue ball's going to go, but he'll be quite pleased with that. There's a red over the corner, but he might not even play directly onto that. Well, he can't, but it's easy to hit the red to the right of it and knock that one in. And if he plays it right, that red should stay over the pocket.
Seven.
We eulogise, and quite rightly so, about Ronnie O'Sullivan's cue action and the amount of pace he can get into the ball without hardly seeming to hit it. If there's one person in the game that is not far behind him, and that's Matthew Stevens.
Yeah, dead right, John. I mean, even that green, how easy he struck it, and so much action he got on the cue ball. We can have a look at this green again. Let me see just how easy he hits this, but just have a look at the cue ball.
16.
Reaction he gets on it.
At the moment, all you've got to do is play back up for the blue, but once again, you see his cue power.
70.
But this time, wrong side of the blue, so good shot needed. There's the red in the middle of the table, which looks to be the obvious red to play on, but he's got to avoid the baulk colours here. This looks good. Very well played.
22.
56-point lead, still 83 remaining, so that really equates to he needs another 3 reds and colours here.
$23.
Might be another example here. Depends what sort of angle he's got on the green. Just looking to see that if you can get on that red just below the black. There's this bottom and follow through. He's found a gap. The red just below the black will go to the right middle, so he can carry on here. Now that he's back on the green, he's still going to need one more red and a colour to clinch the frame. This green will put him 64 points in front with 67 remaining.
He's got a perfect angle, hasn't he? Just one cushion anywhere. The bottom of that line would be perfect. Looks pretty good.
30.
64 ahead, just this red now. Well played, Matthew Stevens.
31.
Yeah, I always think the colour, because that stops your opponent coming to the table. And we've seen a few frames that 2 snookers required during the championship. Oh, and it's careless now. Will Ronnie concede?
31.
Thinking about it. He needs 2 snookers.
Frame conceded, frame.
Well, he didn't like the situation, didn't like the way the balls are laid out for snookers, so he concedes. So Matthew Stevens, he needed a good start. Okay, lucky to get his second chance, but he'll be pleased with the outcome. He now trails still by 5 frames, 11-6. Yeah, so that was a nice bit of good fortune, Ken, wasn't it? A fluke in the red, but and particularly, and of course that's the way the game can go, isn't it? You know, Ronnie played a terrific safety, put him in trouble, and he looked as though he'd made a mistake, whereas in the second session, every time he made a mistake, Ronnie was in and clearing up.
Yeah, just let's have a look at it again. Hits the red completely wrong, smashes into another red. The red comes across the table. As you said, cue ball nearly stopped the red going into the pocket, but nice fluke to have, and of course with the blue over the hole, that was the little Brucey bonus, as they say. But good start from Matthew Stevens. I suppose it's an example of how well he's cueing once he gets in amongst the balls, John. You know, we saw evidence of his cue power, how effortlessly he can hit the ball but get so much reaction on it, you know. So he needs a few of those frames, doesn't he, to get really going in this match?
Absolutely. I mean, there's always a lot of pressure in the semi-final of the World Championship, but maybe now the pressure's not on so much. He's playing for pride at the moment, but got a good start. And what an opening red he produced. be a little bit disappointed with that break. He's left a chance for Ronnie. Red to the left corner. Looks a natural angle to come round the back of the black. And that's the path. And just caught it a touch too thick. Now is he going to leave this straight red to the corner? I think he can just get past the blue. There you see it.
Excellent shot. Matches Stevens. Could have easily taken the easier option and gone up for blue here, but purposely played on the black. More aggressive shot. Good chance. Bringing a few more reds into play here. Oh, that's very good. That's brilliant. He used the bottom red, even though it was loose, to use that to go into the bunch and hit it absolutely perfect. Look at the red he's hit, right above the black spot.
Yes, and when you play those cannons, you're just looking for an easy red to continue. The one he's closest to for the right corner, that's okay. He's got one to the left middle. Looks easy enough. And the pink is available. And there's plenty of loose reds. Decent chance, this.
$50. $60.
I don't think he played for the red to the right middle,
23.
but he knew it was on. But this is the advantage, isn't it? When
24.
You open the balls as he did. There's options. You don't have to play for one particular red.
$29.
Just coming round to have a look to see if the pink goes to this right corner. It does.
30.
Yeah, choice of reds here. One that's closest to the corner, but there's also one at the bottom of the pack will go. Again, left himself options there. Put the cue ball in a position that you could take either red.
36. $37.
Now can go into just a bunch of four reds just above the black if he wishes. Yeah, it's okay. You would have liked to have freer cueing, a little bit hampered.
44.
But he doesn't have to do much with the red.
Yeah, I think that's the big advantage when you're hampered, but he might just be able to... Well, he's rolling in. As long as you don't have to do too much with the cue ball. You know, it's obvious he's hampered, and you may think if he bounces off the cushion, he may just be low on the black.
Foul. Matthew Stevens, 44.
Wow.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Well, that's unlucky. That's unlucky. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's happened to us all, but what a vital time for it to happen. Just as he pushed it through, he just dropped the tip, and he just caught the red, and Referee called it. Matthew knew straight away.
Yeah, it was a case of he was owning up, and anyway, whether the referee had called it or not, because you could see by his reaction. And we saw some great examples in the first session of both players and their sportsmanship, even when the referee didn't see the foul in the first session. Yesterday they both owned up to fouls, and it was very admirable. Nice part of the game.
Even there, Ronnie with that big lead, there was a potential red he could have played, but playing the correct shot in his mind. And Matthew will be still suffering a little bit because he knew he'd created a great chance there to win the frame at one visit until he fouled the red. It's just as he hit it, you just see him just rub on the red he was leaning over the cue. Hardly visible, but the referee spotted it, and as you say, Ken, I'm certain Matthew would have declared it on himself. Well, he played that, what looked a very risky red, but thinking the only red I can leave is the one I'm playing, which is what encouraged him to go for it. Don't look to be much of a safety for Ronnie here now in the baulk area, so may have to come back to this top cushion. Not really what he wants. That won't put any pressure on his opponent's safety.
He's also afraid here that he doesn't want to knock any reds to the side cushion. He's got a 40-point deficit to make up. He wants to keep all the reds in the open. That's always the problem when you play that shot. And that's what he was worried about. He's also concerned about the red closest to the right centre, but also the red that he's pushed close to the left-hand side cushion. That's why he didn't like playing that shot, but he had no choice. He's left a possible teaser for Matthew Stevens, this red into the right centre. If Matthew Stevens was 40 points behind, there's no doubt that he would have a go at this red, but the fact that he's going to try and cushion a 40-point lead. As we look at the Crucible Theatre, packed this morning, semi-final day. Absolutely beautiful place. Wonderful atmosphere, and both players got a great ovation and welcome as they entered the arena this morning.
Ronnie just sitting there. Didn't pot a ball in the first frame. Matthew tempted by this red to the right middle because he feels it's one of those pots that if you knock in, he could win you the frame. He's taken it on. And he's got it. Didn't play with a lot of conviction. And now he's got to play a roll-up. Well, he might not risk the roll-up. He may play off the green and try and find a... Well, put the cue ball back where it is now. It was such a difficult pot that he didn't want to fully commit. I suppose you could. The danger red is this red that's in the other half of the table. I suppose you could cut the green onto that red and move it down and still get the cue ball back to the baulk end.
Brown.
Well, he's using the brown to knock the red up the table. Oh, well, he didn't. He
Matthew
decided
Stevens
to
won.
play the shot just to make certain he got the cue ball safe, and that's pretty good. Won't fault that. Well, he's Ronnie having a go at this. No, just playing the containing safety. Once again, he's left Matthew a little tempter here. That red he played has just nudged that red out enough to make it available to the left centre.
Yeah, he could play this red in such a way he can leave the cue ball back up behind the green and brown and still have a shot for the green and brown into the same pocket. Well, the red he's closest to can only pot into this bottom right hand corner pocket. The red that's left to the blue is his choice. Bit of pressure on this one.
Yeah, he didn't try to make the pot more difficult by playing to screw back to get a good angle on the blue. Just concentrate on the pot. Showing how good he is left-handed. And now a chance to put the second frame to bed here.
Eight. 9.
50 points the lead. Pots this blue. Goes 55 points in front with 67 remaining. So red and a cover. That's all that's needed.
14.
And he'll have won the first 2 frames. And Ronnie O'Sullivan has not potted a ball.
50.
And that's snooker. Believe me, as I say, no matter how good you are, you're not going to score when you sat in your chair. Okay, Matthew had a bit of a result when he fluked the red. It clinched the first
22.
frame, but
23.
been solid enough here. Maybe one pot that Ronnie had to go at. Well, a couple of long ones, but nothing easy. And this frame well and truly over. 70 points
29.
ahead, just 51 remaining.
30. $33. 34.
Look at that, with the reverse side as well. He's got all the shots, Matthew. He's been in the wilderness for a few years, but seems that playing lots of tournaments in these PTCs, from what I gather from friends of his, he's not the best practicer in the world, so playing in those PTCs have sharpened him
39.
up somewhat. Doesn't matter about the red.
Matthew
So
Stevens.
Matthew
39.
Stevens looks as well certain to have taken the 2 frames, but interestingly, Ronnie O'Sullivan, with no hope of winning the frame, has come to the table. And that's only because he wants a little bit of potting practice. That's the first ball he's potted this morning. And this just demonstrates to me, as we've noticed all weekend, that Ronnie means business.
6.
Yeah, we've seen
8.
how focused he is, how determined he is, even with his safety, and also I've seen a few frames where he's played for snookers even when he's needed 2 or 3. It just shows you
11.
he's got that bit of bite, that bit of instinct, killer instinct back in his game, bit of focus, determination, all those attributes that over the last few years he's sort of lacked a little bit. But he certainly got it back for this championship.
15.
And yeah, as you said, John, just a little bit of potting practice. He hasn't potted a ball this morning. He won't be too worried about the blue.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 15.
Sure, he will concede.
Frame.
Yes, and Matthew Stevens. Good start, continues. And he takes the frame, but still trails Ronnie O'Sullivan by 11 frames to 7.
Yeah, it's funny that I was chatting to Ronnie once and we was talking about Alex Higgins. And Alex Higgins, which he always is, and particularly here at the Crucible, he'd get into a situation like that, Alex, where he's 80 points behind, the frame's lost, but he'd come to the table, last red like that,
Yeah.
clear up, you know, in his flamboyant extrovert fashion, go back to the seat to almost a standing ovation. You'd think he'd won the frame, you know. But that's what Alex did. He didn't,
Yeah.
even if he was so far behind, he thought, this is my stage. They've come to see me.
Yeah.
He's encroached upon it, and I'll go and show him something different, you know. But as I say, it just shows you how focused Ronnie is, because it's very rare that he would come to the table with no chance of winning. But as I say, he hadn't potted a ball. He just needed to get his hand on the table, get a bit of potting practice.
Yeah, but good start from Matthew Stevens. He's looked very loose and very sharp. Looks to be killing lovely, but he needs a few frames like that, as we said at the top of this morning session. Needs to get off to a good start.
Yes, I don't think Ronnie will be too concerned at the moment. He's not really had a chance, and a couple of long balls that he might be a bit disappointed he's missed, but you feel certain with the quality of his safety play, which in this match has been absolutely superb, that he's going to force Matthew into an error, and then we may see the fireworks.
Bit short of pace with the cue ball. So it'd be close, and I think he may have left this red to the bottom left-hand corner pocket. Matthew started off with a couple of good long reds. Dead straight this red, but there is added pressure. Those couple of reds just above the black pot, so this is a must-get pot. It's the difference. Sometimes when you play them a shot to nothings, you get away with it. And has he got away with this time?
Well, as you say, the pressure on the pot was the two reds just above the black, and well, somehow the red he's missed has rattled the jaws, come across the table, but it still goes. It goes. I didn't realise it does. The red closest to the cue ball will pot, so he's not got away with it. And Ronnie, for the first time this morning, gets the first opportunity.
I'm sure the first opportunity he'll get, he'll
Five.
be getting that black back on its spot. And here's Matthew's missing. Okay, it's a dead straight pot, you'd expect him to get it, but if those two reds aren't in open play, no doubt 9 times out of 10 that red is going in the pocket. But
6.
I think he's got just a nice angle just to run the black off 2 cushions.
That's the beauty of the one table, of course. We've got so much room now, so we can show you those bird's eye view
30.
shots that really give you the feel of being in the audience.
14.
You can't beat a Jimmy jib. That's what it's called, folks. That camera that comes sweeping in. Trying to hold for the one red. Didn't have the angle to play the cannon. Here's Jimmy again.
90.
Da, 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 da.
$20. 26. 27.
Once again, I think the main reason he's refused to play the cannon is
32.
the pink is just separated, and he thinks he may be better going into the reds off the black, or maybe off the pink. I don't know. No, well, he's going
33.
back up for the blue, so he's going to have to play it this time because there's no loose reds to play for. Got to hit the pink full in the face here and let the pink open the reds. Anything but full in the face, there's always a risk you can go in off in a corner. Well, he didn't hit it full in the face, and as you see, he nearly went
38.
in off, but it was close. But I think he's just got a red. It's not an easy one. The one just to the right of the black. He'd like to get to the one that's closest to the right corner, but I'm not certain he can get through to that. Well, he can't, so it's a little tougher. Lovely shot. Cue ball needs to slow up a little bit, or a full ball kiss on the yellow will do. But no, he's judged it to perfection.
He has a lovely angle on the brown. Should he wish to. Big target to go into the pink and reds here. He may not attempt it, but it is a big target. You can still has that loose red available, and that's maybe the reason why he avoided that, because he's certain to be on this red. Wants to be a lot straighter on it though. That's
43.
well, he's just had a look at two reds. Are they a plant into this bottom right hand corner pocket?
They look dead set, don't they? If they are, just up for the blue. Oh, absolutely dead set. The
44.
reds.
Please make sure all phones are turned off, please.
Yep, absolutely. And they're so close together, you could make them anyway. But from where we're looking, unmissable. So he doesn't have to play the cannon. Just pot the blue. Might have to come off the top cushion, but no need to play the cannon. Well, he did. He did, and the cannon could go wrong. Strange choice to me, but
49.
looks as though he's on this red. Doesn't want plants, they're too easy, Ken.
Well, he's got the red, but didn't get the. As we see the split here, didn't get the right connection on the red, just to run through for the black.
Yeah, I think 99% of players would have played for the plant, because you could have played the plant and opened the other reds as well. So he just finished on the awkward red, but he's not on the colour. He's 50 points in front. There's a possible 75 remaining, so safety, I think, and putting the green on the side cushion.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 50.
And as I always say, as long as you pot the ball, you get the opportunity to play the next shot. And it's a good safety. Lots of pressure on this for now for Matthew, because he knows that Ronnie's just looking for one more red and a colour. Well, two reds, one colour. That's all that's required. So if he's going for this, he needs to get it, or at least get it safe.
wasn't easy, particularly playing it at that pace, almost dead weight, but he knew he'd be only leaving that red. Should he miss it? It's gone safe, so time for Ronnie to try and get another red safe here. Clever little shot, wasn't it? Pushing the red onto the other red, knowing that he'll keep the 2 reds safe there.
Yeah, it's all round tactical game and break building, potting. It's just been, well, I think when Rob Walker introduced him, he said his form this week has been sublime. Couldn't agree more. Tournament pot success, 93%. 91% for Matthew, which is what, of course, why he's in the semi-final. Little tap on the table there from Ronnie in appreciation of an excellent safety shot. There's Ronnie at 90%, tournament safety success. Matthew just a couple of percent below where he needs to be, but just got it a fraction too thick, which is why he's not reached the baulk cushion. Just about crossed the baulk line. But I don't know whether there's a pot on here that will tempt Matthew. There's certainly a pot on, but is it too risky?
Yeah, there isn't, and there's a possible gap as well between red that's on the black spot and the black. When potting this red, he can try and get between those 2 balls. There is a gap. Back up for the blue or ball colour. He's missed the pot but found the gap. Got second prize.
Yeah, he did flick another red, but I think that's probably why he missed the pot. He had to get the gap, didn't he? Couldn't put all his eggs in one basket. As he knows, one more mistake. But at the moment, it's looking very difficult for Matthew, even if he got a chance, the way those reds are lined up on the right-hand side of the table. This cue ball is going to be very close to the corner pocket.
Right, after this frame, I'll get her to have a word on the phone. Tell him, okay? Yep. Can you just get on the phone and ask him not to move that round the shadow while he was on his shot? Is that all right? Yeah. Michael, it's all right, he's told him.
Obviously, doesn't fancy playing safe off those 3 reds that are near the black, but I don't see what else he can play here. He's got to be so careful that pink and blue are going to be in the way if he catches this too thick. No, never caught it at all. Oh, and the worst result, caught the bump of the middle pocket.
Foul and a miss.
Now, has he left anything?
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
If he has, he's lost the frame.
Well, he hasn't left the red into the left corner. Would he take this red on into the left centre? Yeah, he doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I think when you're in that sort of situation, that if it had been left there under normal circumstances, I don't think Ronnie would have any hesitation playing it on, but he's thinking, hang on here, he's got a tough safety.
Yeah. It'll only be fractions, so it won't look any different on the screen. slightly.
yeah.
But it's only fractions and it won't show it that close on our scene. That's what Matthew says. Bit closer to where? But it won't look much different on there. To there, it looks like it's where it is. All right.
Yeah, referee Brendan Moore is saying it's not going to look much different on the screen because there's only millimetres or fractions involved.
Right. So about there then? That looks too high up. How does it look on yours?
Matthew said he's forgot where it was now, but he thinks he was playing across the cushion as opposed to almost in the jaws of the pocket.
Happy leaving it there then? Yeah? Okay.
Ronnie's washed his hands of the whole affair. He said, sort it out yourself. That's where it was. That's where it is now, so there's not a lot of difference. In the end, using his cue power, but there's a red gone over the middle. There's a red into the left middle pocket. So he didn't want to risk playing it the way he did first time around. That brought the reds away from the side cushion, but he couldn't afford to leave Ronnie a sniff of a pot.
Actually a little bit unlucky there, John, you'd have to say. I mean, fantastic evidence of his cue power again, but unlucky he's left this red here.
Just the pink and one more red. And he put his first frame on the scoreboard. 17, the target.
7.
This red took us 62 points ahead with just 59 remaining in these best of 33 semi-finals. First to 17 for the place in the final. And Ronnie, of course, inching
8.
ever closer. And he's looked in good form in this frame. Didn't have much chance in the first two frames, but it just shows at the end of the second
50.
frame, even though the frame was over, he took an opportunity to get a little bit of table time.
16. $22. 23. $30. 31.
'Well, it was a good effort that to get on this
33.
awkward last red. Played it nicely.
34.
It'd be a good shot to get good position on the green, but
41.
let's see how he can do this. Can he screw back? Can he screw back and nudge the green into play? Oh!
43.
Well, I think he's just about moved it enough. Superb cueing.
Beautiful shot, wasn't it, John?
46.
Absolutely.
$50. 55. 60. 61.
Got in first with a break of 50, ran out of position, but made no mistake with that break of 68. That was the Ronnie O'Sullivan of yesterday. First frame this morning, he's won. And he now stretches his lead once again to 5, 12-7. Tough school, isn't it? Matthew Stevens had that long straight red off Ronnie's break, and then when he missed it, Ronnie got 50, but he never really had a chance after that, Matthew, did he?
No, he didn't really. He dominated the frame, didn't he, Ronnie? There was just that half a chance for Matthew. I mean, he did, if we have a look at it again, almost dead straight pot. Now, if those two reds, just on the right of the picture, above the black, if those two reds aren't on, this is played as a shot to nothing, because he can only leave the red that he's playing. And because of that, there's just a bit more pressure on the shot. And that's why you see it's just sort of got away from, just put a bit of extra pressure on that cue action, which has been very, very good so far this morning's session. We saw a couple of excellent opening reds from Matthew, particularly in the first couple of frames. And how do you got that one, John? You know, it certainly would have showed that, you know, he's not going to go away, Matthew Stevens.
Absolutely, and let's be fair, I don't think he hit it bad. It was just a fraction off, that was all. But that's all it takes at this game.
Thank you. Frame 20. Matthew Stevens to break.
There'll be a mid-session interval after this frame. Matthew would love to win it. But Ronnie looks to be in no mood to be giving anything away. Looks really up for it, as he has done from day one in the championship. Well, he's caught the baulk colour, hit the brown, full in the face. That leaves the cue ball on the baulk line. Not pleased with that, so a starter. This red to the corner. You'd expect Matthew to get it.
Yeah, similar shot, isn't it? But just on the other side. There's not as much pressure on this one, because he won't be leaving that much. And that's why. Excellent pot again.
1.
Chance to go into the pack here. Certainly a couple of reds available, but he'd be holding for them. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Excellent shot.
8. 9.
Another angle again. He can go into the bunch just directly above the black here. We still have options. Well played. It's okay. Okay, he's knocked the red to the left side
16.
cushion, but he won't be worried about that.
17.
Yeah, there's plenty of reds in the middle of the table to be enough to win the frame. And leave those two reds, one on the left, one on the right. They might never get touched again. But an important frame this, because if Matthew was to win this, he would take this match to the final session. There's a chance that Ronnie could win it before we got to that. As I say, the target's 17. But every credit to Matthew. He's come out this morning
24.
as if he's ignored the scoreline and just playing it frame by frame, which is all you can do. And see
25.
what that brings at the end of this third session. Pig just about goes on its own spot.
31.
Here was the opening red, 8'2", the distance. Stunned it across to the black in the same pocket. Doesn't miss many of those.
32.
And when we looked at that, just thinking back to the last frame when he had that long red, it was just off straight, wasn't it? You know, and it was one you had to hold. And from that distance, the cue ball can just slip off line. Got this red nicely to the right centre. There's still plenty of loose reds to go
39.
for. And he's already got a 39-point lead.
A couple of reds just to the left of the pink will, particularly the extreme one to the left of the pink will pot, and there's also the one to the extreme right of the pink will pot as well.
$45. 46.
Purposely playing on the pink just to drop the pink into the right centre. This is good stuff from Matthew. He's playing at a very quick pace as well. Always a sign of confidence.
52. 53.
Yeah, he's okay. Now, as I said, the red to the extreme right of that bunch of 5 below the pink does pot into this bottom left-hand corner pocket. So again, doesn't have to go into the reds.
I'm just wondering now, Ken, what's available
58.
after this red? He's 58 points in front. He's going to need another red, so he needs an angle on this black to play the cannon.
59.
And he's come too far. So I question, when he had the good angle on the blue, why didn't he play the cannon then? Has he missed a trick? This black will put him 66 points in front, but there's still 75 left on the table. He's still looking for another red and a cover. As I say, absolutely perfect. Stunning to the pink. One loose red wasn't enough. Well, does he think he can get through to a red to the right centre? There you see it, 66 ahead, 75
66.
remaining. You pot the red and there's only 67 remaining. So he needs this red and a colour. But it's not there.
Matthew Stevens, 66.
It was tricky. So it was one red away from winning this frame. It's still live now, though.
Well, this red goes by the blue into the yellow pocket as we look. So this is a half chance for Ronnie for a counter attack.
So close. Went for it full-blooded, and he's left a chance now for Matthew. The bottom red of these 3 below the pink goes to the left middle. And he can play this with a little bit more confidence. He's not going to leave anything, and he's got awkward reds, so it'd be very difficult to envisage Ronnie clearing up in one visit. So if he can knock this in, this red and the colour, just all that's required. The red's in, 67 points to lead, 67 remaining. Is it worth trying to roll the black into the far right corner pocket? That will mean that Ronnie needs snookers. At the moment, Ronnie can tie, but looking at the table, reds and blacks, that wouldn't be easy, but worth taking a black on surely. If it goes in, frame over. Well, he's just decided to tuck it on the side cushion.
Matthew Stevens, 1.
Well, that's Matthew Stevens' naughty brand of snooker. You spoil sport. Just to confirm, 67 ahead, 67 remaining. And pushing the black there. Well, he comes from a hotbed of snooker. Wales, and they do know how to play match snooker. As we saw young Jamie Jones coming through, and we've had some, well, the Welsh have had a resurgence in this year's championship. Mark Williams, of course, Ryan Day, Dominic Dale. Jamie Jones. I'm getting all this information from Ken here by the side of me, by the way. That's a clever shot from Ronnie, bringing the black into play to give himself half a chance. Little tap on the table from Matthew. He doesn't want to move this red off the cushion, but is it worth trying to... Would it pot? Well, it will pot to the far right corner. Would you play it? He only needs the red. If it goes in, then Ronnie will concede. He's taking it on. But played it in such a way that he was going to leave it safe. So Ronnie in a spot of bother here. Ronnie will do very well to get this safe. That black is covering the roll up to the reds. Good shot. Very good shot.
Yeah, as long as Matthew can keep those reds down in the bulk area, he may try and send these, well, at least one of them, two below the pink. If you can hit these pretty hard, send another one up the bulk.
Yeah, that's good. One's trying to bring reds into play, the other one trying to mess it up. It's funny how frames of snooker can be completely different, but is this red going over the corner? And if it's not covered by the green, then Matthew can pot it, and that will be end of frame. So they will have played 4 frames this morning. Looks like Matthew Stevens could have won 3 of them if he can pot this red. Well, the fact he's had a second look and striking down, maybe he's got to swerve it slightly. So if he hits it, oh, he's having to swerve around the black. If he hits it, he pots it. Hits it, he pots it.
1.
Well, every credit to Matthew Stevens. It'd have been easy, particularly after Ronnie's performance in the second session, to come out here thinking, well, I can't win this match. He's playing too
8.
well, but he's dug in there and he's won 3 of the first 4 frames and looked to be queuing beautifully.
12. 13. 17. 18.
So he started this morning session 7 frames adrift.
22.
Sorry, 6 frames adrift. 11-5.
23.
And now we go into that mid-session interval. 4 frames adrift, and I still don't think, thinking about I can win this match. Obviously, that's always in your mind. You can think you can win a match, but just try and ignore the scoreboard. Get the best out of yourself you can, and see what that brings. This green may be going in. Don't get up yet, folks. Don't. Go on then, to the mid-section interval. Well played, Matthew Stevens, shown a lot of character, and he's won 3 of the first 4 frames this morning. And he trails 12-8.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Right back in this match again. So Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off.
Well, it's a pretty good break-off shot. And a lot of people asking why Ronnie breaks off left-handed. I asked him about that quite a while ago, and he just feels that when he plays left-handed, he has to put right-hand side on when you play that break-off shot. He just feels more comfortable. He feels he can get more right-hand side on it, playing it left-handed. Just a containing safety, couldn't risk the run back into block. And also, the more right-hand side you get on it, what Ronnie says that you've got to be at least a foot this side of the baulk line to find the baulk cushion and get the green to help you cover that loose red. And as I say, he just feels playing it left-handed, he gets more response. Using the brown as the cover to these two danger reds, but the one he's played, he's left a possible pot at.
Yeah, he didn't mean the red to come down that far down the table. Wanted to say somewhere in the middle of the table. This is a natural angle, as you said, John, down behind the black and top cushion here. And the pot again. Needs a flick on the green. He hasn't got it, but he's been so positive and so confident this morning, John. You may attempt this brown, screw in and out of baulk. I've already seen lots of evidence of his cue power, so there you see the 8'8" pot he had. Found the perfect gap between black and top cushion here. Now, this is a difficult pot. He's screwing in and out of baulk. Let's see his cue power again here. Super shot.
Five.
Yes, that's a difficult pot, particularly at an acute angle going into the middle. And he's got this talent that he can inject pace into it without having to hit it really hard. Now he's looking to pot this red second from the right and cannon the red that's just above and to the left of the black. Could bring the black into play here.